Hello. I'm gonna finish working on this. Turn the lights off to keep them low. I decided I want to add some things to this. So what I'm thinking is adding maybe not there. Like a piece that comes out and over. Maybe I can do this with tracing paper. I did with the other ones to test it out. All right. Just roll it in half for use for now. You think it's alright. So, if this is the main piece of the contraption, or however it is. So thought was to add a piece here. It spins. Comes out here. Here. An extra piece. Let's do this. there, and then so that it's like bendable. One extending. It also bends, but not right there. Make it bend a little bit closer. Needs to. It would be that. So to do this, I would need, I could probably do it with, start it with a white gel pen. If it worked, maybe that. I could thin out some gesso, I guess. Apply it with like a tiny brush. So that I can see what I'm working on. Ugh. This brush is garbage. Even watered down, this gesso is better than my other gesso. So this is just a preliminary. So these will be, one will be bronze, I think, and one will be silver. Hi Sam, sorry I missed you the first time you came in. I was looking down at my painting. So the one I drew for this prelim, this lens was bigger, but I think I can still make that work. So when this dries, I'll go over it and line it. Thin liner, hopefully. Not use a paintbrush to fine line it right now, which I don't prefer. One of these days, this gesso will actually cover that gouache. Come on, you. And gouache's coming through there from underneath. Matte finish even. So this should be one more curvy deal. It's still too hot in here. Let that dry for a second. So what else should I add? Let's see. Maybe I can change these into gears. Maybe. Let's find out. It would be pretty stupid, but I am known for such things. A crappy looking gear, but okay. Looks like an asterisk. That one can be a gear because it's going to be attached to something else. Everything else can be just a little knobbin. And that's fine. That is shitty. However, I can do this other part now. I think that's dry enough. Not going all the way to the edge of the white because it is going to get lined, and that will be no need to waste ink. That one has a little holder. Golden copper. Turn on the light if it's hard to see in a second. Can get a little closer. I can always go back over it with the other pen again too. I just need to make sure I don't go out too far and is okay. Okay. That part is done, and then I can just silver. And that should blend with the black if it's still wet. Wait for that to dry and fix it. See. That can be copper. There. Such a long time. Oh, if it's on fire. Oh, if your heart's... Oh, my fucking voice is killing me. Oh, if the flames go higher. Sing oh, let the flames go higher. Some gloss varnish here. This I'm just going to put over part of this here. This part. That won't be noticeable to anybody but me probably, but I like doing stuff like that. Let's make that shiny. There. When that dries, I'll decide whether or not I want to do another part of it. Because this will have a film over it. Maybe that one will be, let's see, I can mix a color into varnish. Let's do blue. This is Inktense, so it should be permanent, even if there's an issue with the varnish. I just wanted it very lightly tinted. Make this one orange. Maybe remix. Let's see. I've got watercolor works. It's like a super lot. That watercolor is like super crazy strong. Do that. Here we go. I could have just done that with watercolor, but then it wouldn't be shiny or permanent, so I thought this would be easier. In the brush, and I'm smoothing this out. I'm going to shade all this in a bit too, like with actual shading. Hello, hello. Turn the light on. Turn this light on, I guess. And now you should be able to see the sheen a little bit. It's not super like obvious, and that's okay. Doesn't need to be. I still, you know, I'm just doing whatever. Should decide what I'm going to do with this part. Hey, this is what I was working on before you came on my channel. Her name is Macy. She's a fierce beast. She's based after the bug I'm creating for the game that I'm working on for my friend, the game cover. Macy, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, most praying mantises are ladies, so why not? All right, let's do this. Something coming out of there for no reason. At least this has a reason. I'm down with that. I was like getting really uncomfortable with the kids in here earlier. I'm not trying to like be shitty, but like when kids come in, like I get really uncomfortable. I'm fine with it. I just. Aw, that's so cute. Yeah. Like, it happens on my other channel that I'm on where people come in and like, at least they were talking about art and not like, you know, stuff that Xbox kids do. I don't have a problem with young people. I just don't know. It's hard for me to talk to people when they're like, what should I do? And I'm like, do whatever you want, man. Like, yeah, they're fine. I'm not good at telling people what to do when it comes to art. Like, that's not my thing. I can help anybody with any kind of process, just about. But as far as like telling people what kind of art to make, like I can't even tell myself that. Like I'm not gonna be able to tell somebody else that. My least favorite art is fan art, though. Like I don't like fan art at all. Like I just do not like it. I went to a convention, I went to TwitchCon, and I was gonna do I thought about doing a booth, but then I was like, every single person at TwitchCon, just about, except for like a few people that I know, like, yeah, and that's what I do. I mean, so I used to teach art. I used to teach art at the Boys and Girls Club when I was younger, and I do teach mixed media, and I used to do art preservation. So like I know a lot about like mounting and adhesives and all sorts of dumb shit like that. But when it comes to like what you like as a person, like what you want to do, like I can never tell somebody what to do. And like I'm really good at giving feedback if somebody wants feedback on their art, like specific feedback, not like do you like this, but like, you know, what could I use work on type feedback. But the thing is, here's what I've noticed, and you probably noticed this too. Kids these days, they all want to post their stuff. Well, so that's the thing, like with fan art, it's a good way to jumpstart like your own style. But if you get stuck in only making fan art, like the only person that you're robbing is yourself. Like you could do so much better than fan art is basically is my take on it. My hot take, I guess. But what I was going to say is that, but like, I know a lot of people that got started doing fan art. And if you're a kid, that's totally fine. Like if you're a kid and you want to, learn how to do it by doing Spider-Man, like the very first thing I learned how to draw was I learned how to draw cartoons when I was young, from a cartoon book. And the first thing I drew was Garfield, even though I didn't even like Garfield, but I could draw Garfield, and I can still draw Garfield. Like I can still draw cartoons because of that book. And I was like 6 years old, But what I was going to say is, when I was doing art, the number one thing for me that helped me was feedback from other artists, not my friends in an echo chamber. And like that is like 99% of what kids are now, if you know what I mean. Like kids post their stuff on Instagram, kids post their stuff on DeviantArt, and like nobody's open to criticism, even if it's 100% constructive criticism. Like nobody wants to hear criticism anymore. Everybody wants to be in an echo chamber. Nobody wants to hear, hey, you could use a little more balance or whatever. And so, oh yeah, and like, but like, I know people that like want to sell art that looks like garbage. Like I know, there's this subreddit called Delusional Artists, called Our Delusional Artists, and it's like, here's the thing: we all make bad art. We all make bad art, but the difference is, artists who are professional enough to understand that they made bad art don't try to sell it. Does that make sense? Because they know the difference. Like artists that have had critique, and this doesn't even talk about like classes or anything. Hey, Dempsey. I'm not even talking about classes. I'm talking about like people who have had any kind of critique from other artists, peers that are not just their friends, that are actually, or professional critique. Like when you send your stuff in to be juried, I pay that money to have my art juried, to have somebody say, here's what your art is missing. Here's what you need. And like, I'm totally fine with that. But most people don't have that. So they post their shit online and they get one negative comment, even a remotely negative criticism. That's like, hey, you could use a little bit more help with your, with your contouring, or your shading is a little bit off, or, your proportions, have you thought about learning a little bit? And for me, I'm more like, I try to be really careful when I give people feedback on their art if they ask me for it nowadays, because I know that those people that are like somebody will draw a face, and I'm not talking like they're drawing something random, well, they're like drawing something, they're like trying to draw a face, and they like draw the eyes up here, and they draw the nose down here, and they're not trying to like do anything that is abstract. They're trying to like actually draw stuff, and the shading is the shading is all off because they like shaded all the lips and stuff, or they drew big back, whatever. And any kind of criticism gets that person flipping out on them instead of, I'll take that into consideration, because none of them know, that the best thing your art can have is constructive criticism. Like, that's the best possible thing that you can get, is constructive criticism from your peers. And that's not posting shit on Instagram to your friends who are not artists, who go, oh yeah, that's great, I love it. Because they all say that. Hey, Shirley. And like, that's the last thing I want, is for me to post stuff online and have all my friends be like, oh, that's great. And I'm like, I mean, that's nice, but if I'm actually trying to get better at something, I want them to go, hey, you could use a little bit more contrast in that piece, or, yeah, but that's just, yeah. And that's the thing though, like, they'll either be yes men, or if they're going to be critical, the criticism isn't constructive. They're just being assholes. And like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like honest, constructive criticism. Like, and what happens is you get these young kids who get stuck in a style, and they get stuck doing things the same way. I have seen artists from DeviantArt do the same exact style of art for 15 years, like since DeviantArt started until now. They haven't gotten any better because they haven't practiced every day. They haven't gotten any constructive feedback at all, and people are buying their shit. And it's like, okay, but then they try to put it in a gallery, and the gallery's like, hey, no. And they're like, well, they don't like me, so they must be shit. And it's like, no, you just don't understand, like the basics of art, which are in some cases not necessary. But like, if you're trying to make stuff to look a certain way, you got to get there. And it's like, I've seen it over and over and over. Let me look at it. Let me get you a link from Delusional Artists real quick. God, my throat. Let me see what the latest thing is. And I mean, I'm like, I gotta find one that's like really good. Okay, here we go. It's literally a tracing of, like, that's the other thing too about fan art. People will buy bad fan art. Like, I have seen people buy some shit, and that's the thing, I don't even try to sell my art. So like, that's not even a thing. Like, I'm not jealous. If people want to make their money, get that hustle, girl or boy or whatever. But like, do you want to get better? Like, do you actually want to get better? Because here we go. But you can't just like call that realism. You can't call this, I do portraits in realism. Like, you can't. $50. I wouldn't even charge $50 for this. Well, it's fairly good line art because he probably traced it. That's what I'm saying. The second one is fine. The issue is realism. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We all make bad art. All artists make bad art. We all make some bad art. That happens, you know? Well, you should ask for criticism. Everybody should ask for criticism, and you should always, always draw things that make you uncomfortable. This is one of the most uncomfortable things I have painted in a long time because I don't do any kind of realism, even if it's cartoony. The closest thing I get to is my little monsters. Everything I usually do is completely different. But what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is that you will stagnate. And maybe that's okay with you. Like, maybe that's fine. Like, some people want to stagnate. That's fine. They want to stagnate. They don't want to ever get better. But then they, I don't know. It's just sad to me to see, like, people's, posting a picture and being like, I will, draw your portrait. And it's like, get better. Get good first. Yes, post that photo to your Instagram. But no, don't try to sell somebody a portraiture realism until you know how to draw realism. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to draw caricatures. I could try. I could practice. They wouldn't be very good. But I wouldn't say, I'll draw your caricature for $50. Because I know that it's not worth that. And that's what we have here is people that, and they end up making money off a few friends. And then they try to put their art in a show. Then they try to put their art in a gallery or something, and they realize that they've never actually had any criticism, and then they get mad, and then they quit. And that's the problem. Or, what's this? Oh, that's cool. Is that the ones your daughter did? Yeah, those are awesome. But basically, it's easy to retreat into your own, like, fan club, to be like, hey, these people love my art, so I'll just keep talking to them. But then you never learn anything. And fine, if you don't want to learn anything, fine. If you just want to make the same thing and that makes you happy, that's great. But don't get mad, when you don't sell for the big bucks. Don't get mad when you try to become a professional artist and it doesn't work out. And that's what happens to them, They try to get in galleries. They try to, get prints done and stuff, and it doesn't work. And it's like, of course that didn't work out for you. You never bothered to even see what other art is. You only follow other artists that have the same skill set that you do. That's all. Like I said, they're only boning themselves. Well, that's the thing too, is like, and somebody else is talking to me too, but Shirley, if it makes you uncomfortable, you should try it. If you think you can't do it, you should try to do it. And that's what I'm doing. Somebody asked me to do something that I normally wouldn't do. This is a perfect example of that. Oh no, I'm using Restream. But it's like I was saying before, here. Sorry. I'm dying. Not really, but really. If it gives you anxiety, if you're afraid of it, you should do it. Unless it's something that's actually dangerous, then obviously don't do it. But like, if it's something that you can think of that you could actually do, that's not dangerous, you should do it. You should always do things that scare you. Always, always. If it makes you scared, try it. Realism. Fucks my shit up. But you know what? Every once in a while, I get down and I try to sketch something realism. Just because I don't like it. I'm not comfortable with it. But I do it. Now, I don't do it for my streams. And I don't do it for other people. And it's great to draw what you love. But if you're trying to actually get good, draw things you don't like every once in a while. just keep getting better. Keep trying. And if it scares you, if realism scares you, do that. If abstract scares you, do that every once in a while. If abstract art scares you, the easiest thing to do is to pick up a pen. A lot of people are terrified of abstract art. And what's interesting about that is that people, when we're young, and this is something that I used to teach, when we're young, we're free. We see the world. Yeah, it is. It's just a style, exactly. We see the world, hey, Richard, with open eyes, and we put it on paper how we see it when we're children. You know, we don't, children draw a house. How do they draw a house? Like this, right? Kids, they draw a house like this, right? Does a house look like that? No, not really. But every person, every parent especially, hey, Richard, will recognize a kid draws a house like this, right? They all draw the sun the same way. Just about. Either they saw somebody else draw it like that, they saw it in school, whatever. Is that what the sun actually looks like? No. But there's a freedom in this. Because as soon as you start to learn technique, you start to learn about art, you start to lose freedom more and more. And there are artists, especially abstract artists, and this is what I'm talking about, abstract art. There are, I'm going to use my good paper for this. There are abstract artists and artists that spend their entire lives trying to get back to this. And I don't mean drawing this specifically, but this freedom before they learned about contrast, before they learned about shading, before they learned about balance, before they learned about the thirds, before they learned about anything that they learned in school. That all has to go away. And the easiest way to teach that is to do what's called a blind continuous line contour. Oh, sure. I'm just saying there are people that are terrified of it. So what I do when I teach classes, one of the things I teach is a continuous blind contour. So what I will do is pick something, let me find something. I'll just use a photo of a person. Let's see. I'll choose a person with glasses. And what I'll do is, okay, this person. It was the first picture I found. Oh my God. Hold on a second. So this was the first one I found. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this picture, and I'm not going to look at this, and I'm not going to use this. I'll use a regular marker or pen. I'll use this one. And I'm going to start drawing, and I'm not going to lift my pen off the paper. And I'm even going to close my little window on my computer so that I'm not looking at it. But the idea is just to, get yourself out of your head. Like, you obviously are not going to draw it the way it looks. You can't see it. But if you don't pick your pen up and you keep trying to draw what you see, do this a few times. Do this, 50 times even. And I draw things weird. Sometimes I draw them outside in. Sometimes I draw them inside out. But let's say that's good enough. Where is it? Here. And this could be a starting point. Like if you do abstract work, this could totally be a starting point. I have done sculptures from stuff like this, where I would, you know, come up with something and take pieces of wood and cut it up and turn it into a 3D sculpture, whatever. You don't have to, it can just be free, and it doesn't have to be good or bad or whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be any of the things that you're taught. You could go in and color it and, you know, do whatever with it. And then usually what I would do, now you don't have to do this, but you could leave it as it is. I go back in and play. And I could have had more, I could have given it more, you know, detail or whatever. I'm not going to do that either. I don't care. It's fine how it is. I'm going to go from here. And I could leave it like a face, or I could turn it into something else. But all I'm saying is, if it scares you, there's a way to do it. There's a way to figure it out. And of course, obviously, stuff like realism takes a lot more practice. Handwriting, you know, some people are scared to write things. They're scared to work on their handwriting. And, like, that's a big deal for some people. I do that too. But yeah, don't get trapped. Don't get trapped in what is comfortable. The more comfortable you are, the more your art stagnates. That's 100%. I almost never like my art until it's finished. Until it's getting close to finished. And you know what? If you're comfortable, that's fine. Like, if you want to be comfortable and you don't want to do anything else, that's fine. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, you can totally just do what you do. Like, that can be a thing. This is way brighter than it looks, by the way. Sure would be nice to not be dying right now. This is watercolor. Oh, sorry. I'm just venting, ranting. I'm just talking about people not branching out, not trying new things. That is one thing that's great about art school. You do have to try a lot of different things. And a lot of people don't like it. I had a friend that could only do realism, and he lost it in art school. I actually have made it. Not too long ago, made a sculpture like this. I sure wish I wasn't dying right now. That'd be awesome. These are great, by the way. These watercolors. Oh, yeah. Let me find it. Macy. Macy the Mantis. She's not quite finished yet. I thought about putting something over it and like a wash coming down to age it a little bit. There she is, Miss Macy. Still working on it though. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I was working on the coloring book page earlier. I'll play with this for a minute, then I'm gonna put it away. This is not watercolor paper though, so I don't want to play with it too much. Why is that so light? Oh yeah, because this is not watercolor paper. Oh, I think it's because I have two reds actually. And this is the other one. Hey, which one of my pens is bleeding? That's awesome. Let it go. Let it go. It's fine. I almost never get frustrated with my art anymore because I just try to work it until I like it. And if I can't, then I just work on something else. And then come back to it. I come back to a lot of art, actually. Most of my art is done in stages, and then when I'm recording tutorial, or not tutorial videos, but my vlogs, I actually do a lot of vlogs on YouTube, and I usually end up, I don't know, I usually end up, having to record it in several sessions because I never finish things on one go. If I do, it's something really simple. Figure out which one of these fucking pens is bleeding. Probably the one that's not supposed to bleed. So one of these is a alcohol pen, and one of these is supposed to be like India ink. Yeah, this one's India ink and this one's an alcohol pen, so this one shouldn't bleed. Who knows? She's curious. I'm curious too. I mean, it's just a blonde contour. It's just the beginning. It's just a background. It's just a jumping off point. I got no plans. I even have a whole thing where I just spin a wheel and pick something. This is the piece I did earlier that's all finished. I finished that one from my art journal. Give me. And I got some gouache. Gouache! Back up. It's that time, eh? Righto. Well, I hope you have a good manja. Gouache. Lunch. Yeah, it's 3 for me. I've been up since yesterday. I'm just tired. But I can't sleep because I'm choking. Yeah, I know that feeling. I keep a list of all the ingredients on all the stuff I have on the fridge, and then I'm like, all right, if you want blah, say so. No, luckily, they're not picky. Brian wants to go get ramen tonight, so we'll be doing that. If I ever get to sleep, I have to work tonight, so. Gouache is so weird. It's such a weird medium to work with. It's kind of a bastard. That's what makes it fun. He wants to like go get Japanese ramen, is what I was saying, I guess. He wants to like go eat 1,000,000 pounds of food. I love making Korean ramen at home though, with vegetables in it and a little bit of American cheese. It's so good. Do it like vegetables and green onions. That's awesome. There we go. I have a pasta press, but I only use it to make egg noodles usually. I'm probably gonna have to go to the hospital tomorrow because I'm gonna end up with pneumonia. I'm so tired of getting pneumonia. It is not my friend. Yeah, that's what I have to do, the cuts. Well, just mine is spaghetti and fettuccine, I think. I used to have a different one, but my ex stole it from me. A nice hand, thanks. I made it myself. Someone just told me I had a nice hand. It's made of hand. I use it to paint with. Ah, that's cool. Yeah. I haven't made spaghetti with mine yet. Just the fettuccine. I'm so shaky from all my medications that I've been taking today. I love how I have nice watercolor brushes. I always end up using this brush or one of these. It's just so much easier. And because it's just got water already in it. This color, I love this color. When I first got these, I didn't do a swatch of all of them, and I just discovered this color the other day because it doesn't look anything like this on the package. It looks like a dark plum color. This is like super purple. I'm gonna use some Chloraseptic in a minute because I can't breathe. Doo-doo. I love making egg noodles. I'm not a super huge fan of making noodles from semolina flour. I can. I mean, my family is Sicilian, and I grew up making pasta, but I get really good pasta from Costco that's like super easy to cook as far as spaghetti goes. I have a bread maker too, but I almost never make bread. I don't really eat a lot of bread though. Ever since my sister's been living with me, we've only recently been eating bread in the house again. I probably should, but the bread maker is pretty nice. I wasn't making regular bread with it when I was making bread. I was making like bread that had like cinnamon in it and honey. That was good for making French toast. Yeah, that's cool. I actually don't have a mixer. I used to have one in my old house. My ex-boyfriend took it. He took all my... I don't want to get into it. He took all my stuff. He still has all my stuff. Oh, my head is killing me from coughing. I've been coughing for so long. All right, I'm going to spray my throat. All right. Mouse and Pain's Gray. My favorite color. Where are you? Ooh, there's still some pink on there. That's nice. Hyperrealism? No, I haven't. I should check it out. I actually don't use Twitter very often. It's been a long time since I did Twitter stuff. Back when I was like camming a lot, I did it, but not so much anymore. I'm surprised I haven't seen it in my Facebook groups. I moderate a couple of Facebook groups that are pretty big. Hi, Rudra. Hey, Willie. How you been? All right, now. This is just a blend contour, man. Just playing around. All right, so hopefully this is all dry enough. What was the last thing I painted? Whatever. It's all good in the hood. All right, so now I'm going to do another blank contour, but I'm not going to look at anything. I'm just going to let my pen wander. My eyes are closed, by the way. All right. Choose you. Oh no. It's not good. And you. Clicking. Oh, I have seen some of that. That's awesome. Don't tell me what to do. Show your face. Go get bent. You think you could just come in my room and tell me what to do? That is not how things work here. And even if it was how things worked here, you would have to give me money for that, to tell me what to do. And I would have to be in the mood to accept your money and tell you to fuck off. See what I mean about kids? Let's see. I like to convince people that I look like a troll. It's my favorite pastime on this site. Okay. Look at her. Oops. Thanks, Nate. This isn't normally what I do. I'm just playing around. Again, I say that a lot. Oh, my art is different. Here, let me turn on my, if you check out my whiteboard, there's a link. Well, hold on. Sometimes these brush pens are great. Sometimes they're shit. Yeah, kind of, because of the colors I picked. Not that I could control. One thing though is you can tell I've been doing this a lot longer than a lot of people who do blind contours, because a lot of people stay really tight with blind contours when they do them for the first time. They'll just work really small on the page. That's fine. Abuse away. That's how it goes. I really like some of the surreal artists I've seen on Twitter. They do like not Twitter, god damn it, Instagram. It's mostly digital art though. I found him by looking up fractals, because I'm super into fractals. And now I'm, making choices, obviously, of what I want to do with it. That's the great thing. If you have a design, you just play with it. If you're anything like me, you won't even remember what you started drawing. Gonna make some ramen. You can come make me ramen. No, I would make dinner tonight, but I can't even sleep right now because I can't breathe. She doesn't know how to cook anything yet. So my sister was like really neglected when I got her. When I got her, I mean, not that long ago, she couldn't wash her own hair or cut her own meat. Like, yeah, so I've done that. A lot of mixed media today, you mean? I did a little bit earlier. Or you mean in my thing? Yeah, I mean, mixed media is my jam, so. She's been in a bad way. I don't know, she's really, like, she broke her arm, not that, like, when she was younger, and my mom didn't take her to physical therapy, I guess. Things like that. She doesn't know how to cook anything yet, but I'm trying to teach her. I've used salt in my art a little bit when I've done watercolor. It's been a while though. So tired of coughing. My throat hurts so bad. I hate getting pneumonia. I get it all the time because I grew up in a house with people that were chain smokers, 2 different houses. And I just had lung problems constantly. And now anytime I get even a little bit of a sore throat, I end up with physical pneumonia. Aw. Aw, that's so cute. Like she's giving you a hug. And see, I started this out just to make a point, and I actually kind of like it. Kind of fun. A very 80s way. It's very 80s. I do some more color down here. Let's do this. Let's see here. Ah! Mm. I'm gonna dry it real quick. Oh, I love ginger soup. Anything ginger. I used to make chicken ginger soup a lot. Really, I like to eat just about anything, to be honest. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, ginger makes for a good soup base. I like to make Russian cabbage soup a lot. I used to make a lot more soup. I make stew and I make chili pretty often. It's really bright. Let me fix that. Yeah. So similar to like a regular stock, but you just add ginger. Okay. I make Robert the stew. It's like Robert the Bruce beer or any like dark Scottish ale. I use that as a base for a soup. One of my favorite things to do. I like making chili, but I usually make vegetable chili. With like lots of beans and veggies. Like zucchini. Da-na-na-na. I like veggie chili because I find that if you make a chili that like has a really good flavor, it doesn't really need meat. Like I'm okay with meat. I like, whatever. But I find that it's like just as good with vegetables. Most of the time I make it the way that I make it and people can't tell there's not meat in it anyway, so I just don't even. I usually make it for gatherings. I can make it vegan, but I like cooking my veggies in butter. Like that's the only thing. Like I can make it with olive oil, but I prefer butter. Like I'm totally fine with meat in it. I like it with things where I can really taste the meat, like deer, like venison or something. Like then I can use it. Like I like it, but like just beef doesn't. Just beef doesn't. It's whatever. I can clean that. Probably not. Got it. Oh. But yeah, like venison has a really strong taste. So it's like, you know, to me that makes sense to like use it in chili because you can actually taste it. And the rest of the chili kind of tones it down, so. Or duck, you know, things that have a very specific flavor that aren't going to be taken over by the chili pepper. I like just about any chili as long as it's not boring. Some people make really boring chili. I met somebody that makes chili just by like dumping chili beans in with like some meat and like that's it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, that's horrible. What a horrible thing to do to yourself. Why wouldn't you even put some chilies in that? Like some chili peppers, just, you know, chili, peppers, and chili. I don't know. Then again, I know people that think that ginger is spicy, so whatever. Aw. Yeah, I know people like that. So my boyfriend's Chinese, and like we keep MSG in the house, and we know so many people that think they're allergic to MSG. They're not, because a lot of people think that they're allergic to MSG because that was a thing in the 80s. But like almost nobody's sensitive to MSG. It's literally just salt. And people are like, I'm allergic to MSG. And I'm like, do you eat sushi? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, it has MSG in it, so you're clearly not allergic to it. It does. It's like literally the flavor that seaweed gives food. Like, shit. It's naturally occurring in many foods. Yeah. Yeah, these people don't have food allergies. This is what I'm talking about. It's just a thing. It's just a thing that started in the 80s. It's literally, it's salt. Like, it's a salt. Like, nobody's allergic to it. If you're allergic to it, then you're allergic to salt. People were going to buffets and they were eating too much food and they were getting stomach aches and they were blaming it on MSG. Anything to, what's the word? Anything to make Asian people seem bad. Anything to instill more xenophobia. There have been multiple studies done on it now that, you know, prove that it's not a thing. People still claim it's a thing, though. Yeah, my dad's the same way. He won't eat anything that he didn't eat. He's never even tried Chinese food. He's never had Taco Bell. I don't think there's any excuse for that kind of behavior. Like, I don't think there's any excuse for not trying new foods. Like, I just pretty much assume you're an asshole if you don't try new things. There's this guy we know who we were going to go get Korean barbecue. Keep in mind, my boyfriend's Asian. And we were going to go get Korean barbecue. And he was like, you guys always go and get Korean barbecue whenever we meet up, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to eat dog. And he said it. He made sure to say it 3 times that he didn't want to eat dog. And finally, my boyfriend, who never curses or never yells at anybody, he was like, shut the fuck up. And like, we went to Korean barbecue and he tried some. And now it's his favorite thing. And it's like, grow up. Just grow up, okay? Just nobody grow up. Don't be racist. Don't be xenophobic. Just grow up. Also, Korean barbecue is like so simple anyway. It's just fucking, it's a meat and marinade. Like, it's so whatever. It's like not even a thing. Yeah, well. Well, the Chinese restaurants all had to put up signs saying that they didn't use MSG. Sometimes I go to the restaurants and I'm like, can I have some MSG added, please? Because it's delicious. It makes food delicious. It makes how you experience food change. It's literally, it's amazing. There's a reason that they wrap sushi in seaweed, and it's because it changes the flavor of the fish. It makes it more savory. Man, that's so bright pink. Alerzian crimson. I'm in so much pain. Would you believe I'm a singer? Probably not today. A professional wanted that. And yet I have chronic throat problems. It's awesome. Yep. Yeah, we have a really good Chinese restaurant close to us. It's funny, my boyfriend's dad came here with his sister who's never had food from there, and her boyfriend, and like his cousin who just came here from China, or came here from Singapore, and we had food from there and they all thought it was amazing. It's funny because we live in a small town, so it's like not the kind of place you would expect to have like the best Chinese food, but it's so good. This is fun. I like it. This reminds me of like something weird, like 80s tropical shit. Oh, that's awesome. Oh man, tamales. I wish I could get tamales around here without having to go to... There is a restaurant that has them, but I have to like, do sit down. The one here is called Happy Dragons, which there are a lot of restaurants called Happy Dragon. But this one is just amazing. Like, they don't do delivery though. Their food is kind of expensive though, but like you were saying, they could charge more and you would still eat it. Same. Same. Now, the place that delivers our Chinese food it's pretty good. And they have a deal where you get free crab rangoon with an order of $25 or more. However, they're not even close to the other place. They have more menu items though. Things that like you can't get at the other place, but it doesn't matter because the other place's food is amazing. All right. Hey, Bernie. This is leaking all over me. And my painting, fantastic. It's fine. Hey, look at that. Nice. Nice, Ron. I can fix that later if I decide to do anything with this, which I probably won't. add to the ambiance. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this alone. I'm just playing with it anyway. Bye, Willie. I'm trying to take care of it, trust me. But yeah, I think that was a fun little experiment. Take a look at Macy and then I'll probably be done. I gotta lay down after a bit. I'm so tired. Apple sushi? That's fun. Like apple and salmon? Oh. Oh, that's cool. That sounds good. I'll leave her alone too. I will attempt to sleep for a little bit before my boyfriend drags me to eat. Food is bad for me. It's fine. Probably would have made something bad for us too because I'm so tired and sick. Some pasta or something. That's probably what I would have made. Keep on dreaming out loud tonight. All right, I'm gonna head out. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hope you have a good day and a good dinner. Oh. Oh. Don't get clawed. Bye.